And this is the Tuesday live show. I'm excited for today's topic, which is completely different from what I had thought or had planned on, which is going to be pivoting in the moment when things change. And I'll tell you why it's different in just a minute. But I do record all of my Tuesday shows and I put them on my website, sellingcoaching.com, in my university. I help coaches transition to a full-time business. And I have a lot of fantastic resources that are going to help you start to structure your business, understand your marketing plan, and set you up with a process on how to get paying clients on a regular basis. If you want to check out sellingcoaching.com, right on the homepage, there's a great resource for you to start with. If you enter your name and email address, it's going to give you access to my audio course or my audio program, which is Launching Your Coaching Business, the First 3 Vital Steps. So you can go ahead and check that out right there. That's also going to put you in my email community. It's going to allow you to get some really great information on a weekly basis and with what I do there. I have a 14-day GoPro challenge. If you're watching this live, we're launching it next week. This is going to be the last GoPro challenge of 2020. If you're watching this at any other time, or you want to get involved with that last GoPro challenge of this year, visit GoProChallenge.com. Awesome challenge that's going to really start to get your message to market and teach you the process of how to follow up and get paid. Love it. So many coaches have gone through it. We capped 200 coaches this last time, and I'm excited to bring it to more as we end this year in a bang. So check that out, GoProChallenge.com. Now, today's topic is interesting because yesterday, I'll tell you a little story. Yesterday, I'm preparing for my live show and sending my weekly email out, etc. And last week, I talked to one of my mentor coaching clients, and I'm like, hey, listen, you know, we kind of culminated some of our work together after working together for a year and a half. And she was kind of doing some stuff on her own now. And I said, you know what? I've got to get you on to my Tuesday live show and interview you because she's done some amazing things. And so I wrote the email out. I set up the Facebook event. I sent it out to my audience. I promoted it in my Selling Coaching private Facebook group. And I'm like, hey, listen, you know what? I'm going to have my great client, mentor coaching Natalie on, and we're going to interview her, and you're going to learn about all this great stuff that she did. And I sent it all out, and I'm just carrying on. And then I get an email from her about an hour later. And she's like, Jeff, I thought we had agreed to do the 27th for the interview, not tomorrow, which is the 20th, which is now today. And I'm like, I looked at my calendar and I'm like, yeah, I think that is correct because I have you on my calendar for the 27th. And so obviously there's no Natalie today. And so I thought in that moment, I'm like, oh, so what am I going to do for my Tuesday live show today? And that's all I thought about. And then this morning I went golfing because I had other stuff going on. I went golfing. I came home. I had to change my internet connection because the internet connection at my house just was horrible. I stopped at Verizon. I hooked it up literally 5 minutes. I've still got my golf stuff on. 5 minutes before the show, and I get on here and I'm like, oh crap, I don't have Natalie. What are we going to do the show on today? I've got to write a description. And I said, what a better opportunity to talk about pivoting and being in the moment. And this is a skill set. It's not like, I don't know what else you'd call it. It's just not something you do. It's a skill set you develop. Because years ago when I started, if I had something planned and something changed, whether it was out of my own error, like today, like I just looked at the wrong date, or let's say I had someone interviewed today and I was planning on interviewing her and whatever. Let's say my internet connection didn't work. Let's say her internet connection didn't work. Let's say she got sick or something happened with her kids in an emergency and she didn't show up and I've got to go live. What would I have done? And so there's lots of situations in your business. You're giving a live presentation and something happens to your microphone, something happens to your planned presentation. The printer doesn't work. The projector doesn't work. The computer doesn't work. The cable doesn't work. You show up and you're at the wrong place and now you got to go and now you go to a different place and now you're late. There's so many things that happen in our business and we can plan and plan and plan, but they don't necessarily or won't always go our way. Or said differently, they won't always go according to plan. And that's why being able to adapt and pivot in the moment is such a crucial and vital element to be able to do. But I'm calling it a skill set today because like I said, starting off years ago, I would have freaked out. And I've been more adaptable in the moment as a personal trainer, group fitness instructor for years. I worked with clients. So there were situations where I had to present, before I did coaching, where stuff would happen, microphones would go out, clients would change at the last minute. And there's a multitude of situations that would happen where I would have to pivot. So I naturally got used to that. And I feel like I'm more of a person that thrives more in that moment, in those stressful situations anyways. So I will share that piece with you. Some people I've worked with over the years are not that person. So the first element I want to share with you is start to understand yourself the best. And you got to know how you operate. Even if you don't thrive in stressful situations, there's still an element of entrepreneurship where you must learn to thrive in stressful, pivoting type situations, because to me, that's what defines entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship and earning income as an entrepreneur is all about this. What is that? It's speed. Money like speed. Speed comes from decisions. Being decisive and knowing what you're doing next. Even when you're not knowing logically, knowing here, knowing in your gut, trusting, developing that. To me, trust is it's 100% or 0%. There's no like, oh, I'm kind of trusting myself. If you're kind of trusting yourself 99%, it's 0. Or you're completely all in. And so starting to develop the skill set of trusting yourself, trusting your gut, being decisive, and I said getting this speed and moving, you've got to get yourself to market. You've got to get your message out there. It doesn't come by contemplating and thinking and rehashing and going back and forth and then testing and asking for feedback. I'm not saying don't think and don't be intentional with what you do. Absolutely, that's important. However, you're not rewarded in this business for the very methodical, overthought, perfect type, getting my website out there, etc. There are certain people that will do those things, and it takes a while to get to market, and they're not getting themselves paid. Now, it takes a certain person to be able to get out there and release the perfection, release the, oh my God, I didn't proofread this 50 times. I didn't run this by other people, etc. You've got to be able to begin to release that. And there's going to be things that you're going to put out there in the beginning. And the value of doing that in the beginning when you're putting stuff out there, quickly, and it's not even quickly. Let me scratch that word. Just decisively. That's the word I'm looking for in this context. You're putting things out there decisively. When I write an email, or let me back up a second. When I'm helping my mentor coaching clients one-on-one or in groups, develop a baseline system of, weekly email, a weekly show, whatever that turns out to be. And I say, hey, this whole system really shouldn't take you more than an hour every week. And in the beginning, they're like, oh my God, really? It sounds like a small amount of time. I'm like, no, your show, whether you're doing a podcast or something live like this, 5-10 minutes tops. Yeah, maybe go longer as you talk further, but that's all you need. Writing the email and deciding on the topic and description will take you the longest. But what I've gotten to the place where I'm writing my emails, and I'm sharing this with you so you can start to understand, like literally it was 12:03 today. I was going live at 12:05, and I was typing out in the Facebook little description about this, what am I writing about? And you'll see what it is. If you're watching live or the recording of this, you'll see what it is. And when you get to that spot where you get into that space where you're acting decisively, it's not rushed, it's not quick, it's not scattered, it's not, oh my God, I got to get this done. It's just, okay, what I want to share. And you know what, if you broadcast a minute late or you send it at, not exactly when planned, that's okay. Because the great thing is you're the CEO of your business. So there's no rules to it. If you have a deadline, a self-imposed deadline, or even a deadline you have set because people are expecting it out there, and that changes, it's not the end of the world. It's okay. You could be real. I want you to be real with your people, but I want you to be able to act decisively, because when you act decisively, you can send something up there. So circling back to when I write an email, when I wrote this post, 2-3 minutes before I was going live, I was acting decisively, meaning I didn't question what I was writing. I didn't go back and proofread it any times, actually. I might have read it, scanned it real quick again. And I had to trust that what I said and what would come out today would work. And I've done it enough to feel confident in that. What I'm saying is start to begin that skill set now. So when you write an email, when you send it out there, when you write a post, I'm not saying don't proofread it. I'm not saying, don't take a moment to make sure it looks good. I'm just saying don't take many moments or multiple moments or, hours to do something or half hours to do things. Like write something, give it a quick read over and send it out there. And you know what? You're going to have spelling errors. You're going to have grammar errors. You're going to leave something out. You're going to have a typo. You're going to have something that when you, and it's going to be something obvious when you reread it and you're like, oh my God, if I had just taken the time, it's like when you take a test back in the day or whatever, and you just like, oh, I knew that answer. And if you just took a little bit more time. So I'm not saying rush here, just decisively. And so when you do that and you get your email out there and you get your show out there, you get your podcast out there, you call someone up, you send the email, whatever it is, it's okay if it's not perfect. It's okay if there's a spelling error. If that's all someone receives from your email that you send or your post that, oh, you spelled this word wrong, or oh, you used there instead of there, and whatever it is, or you have a typo, right? There's some people that share that stuff because they care about you, which is fine, but you shouldn't let that bother you because you know that that's not you. Now you don't want to be having this happen all the time. If there's always errors and there's always gross things happening, then maybe you need to dial it back a little bit. What I'm saying is if you begin to trust yourself and act decisively, you're going to get yourself to market more. You're going to get your message out there more consistently. You're going to start to feel better about it. You're going to cut down on your preparation, and it's your thinking preparation where I'm overthinking what I've got to do. And it's how is anyone going to like this? Is anyone going to be good on it? Because most of the time I find when you get to that situation, coaches, they don't ever get it out there. They don't ever get it out there. Or it's very inconsistent in getting it out there. And I preach consistency over time. If you're a student of mine, you've heard me say that a bajillion times, but it's a real thing. So you've got to go get it out. Go get it out. Take an idea. Some of the best things I've ever done personally and some of the most successful clients I've ever had is when we have a conversation, or for myself, I've had a thought about a program, an idea, something I want to do, and I take it to market. And I don't, oh my God, what am I going to do? And let me just do this, launch this in 2 or 3 months from now. It's just like, okay, let me do this in a couple of weeks. In the beginning, when I start working with my mentor coaching clients, some of the people I'm working with and those of you watching, be nodding your heads like, yes. Like sometimes I'll be like, all right, so here's an idea. We want to get your signature course out there. We want to, do an event. All right, let's do it next week. Let's do it in a couple of weeks. And they're like, are you freaking joking me? And I'm like, I'm not freaking joking you, because that's all we need. And all we need is a concept. We need a topic. We need a brief description. Even in the GoPro challenge, if you have done that or you want to take that, GoProChallenge.com. It's like in a matter of 2 weeks, you will be amazed at what you can do in 2 weeks. And the reason is because not only you've got structure, you've got deadlines at the end of the day, you've got step by step, but the thing is I give you deadlines. It's like, here's what we got to do today. And some of the things you might think like, oh my God, we got to do that. But the number one feedback I've been getting from the people that have gone through the GoPro challenge is that I don't have time to overthink it, because even though it might feel overwhelming to me, not everyone feels that way, but some people do, especially if you're starting off, like, well, I just gotta do it. And they do what they need to do. And by the end of the day, they submit it, they do it, they publish it, whatever the activity is, they film it, they post it, they take action on it. And then, because guess what? The next day there's more, and you just move on and you accomplish things. That's acting decisively. So whether it's with the GoPro challenge that I do, it's with my one-on-one on my mentor coaching, my group mentor coaching, everything I talk about there and everything I'm doing with them is like, all right, let's get this done. Let's give a deadline. It feels overwhelming to you. Okay, what's overwhelming to you? Let's start to make it less overwhelming. Oh, you need to push it out a week. Let's push it out a week. And then I'll do that. And then sometimes they'll come back to me. They're like, I think maybe I can do it in a couple weeks, or I think I can do it next week now, because you're right. I don't need that much time. And the great part about it is that whatever happens, whether they get a client, whether people sign up for their program or their course, whether they feel good about it or they're not, whether they feel overly prepared or not, the best part is they've tested something, they've got it out there. And if they've gotten someone to sign up or they've gotten a client on the back end of it, because it happens, now they've gotten paid. Now they've gotten paid to figure it out. Now they've gotten paid to pivot, as opposed to when you're behind the scenes pivoting, you're just always pivoting and nothing's ever happening. No one's ever benefiting from it. You know, you've got to be willing to put your message out there enough so that it can impact somebody positively, negatively, indifferently, or maybe it impacts nobody because no one saw it, read it, or watched it. But also in the beginning, that's not such a bad thing because you don't have a following. You don't have people watching you. You don't have anyone sitting out there waiting or expecting something from you. So when you send it out there, is the interesting part that I find funny sometimes is that we find we're not putting something out there because we're so afraid of what it will look like or feel like, or will people benefit it, of all the crazy things that we think in our head, which feels so real. I understand. I felt that way before, right? But then there's no one really ever even looking for it right now. So even if we put it out there, no one would actually even see it, or I'm saying someone might see it, right? But so it's interesting because we're so worried about it, but yet no one's really even going to see it. And then when we actually put it out there, we get disappointed or bummed repeatedly if we start doing it that, oh, no one's seeing it, no one's watching it, or it doesn't seem like anyone's responding to this, you know? So it's an interesting dynamic when we do that. And that's where I'm saying all those things don't even matter. All those things, when I set my mentor coaching clients up with a weekly system, you know, getting a show out there, etc. And I'm like, don't even worry if anyone shows up. Who cares? Like, do we care? Of course we care. Do I care that there's people watching me live right now? Of course I care to a certain degree. But if there was no one here, I'd be okay with that because I understand the philosophy of what I'm doing and why I'm doing that. And we start to understand that, and also the practice that we're getting by doing that, you take situations like today where coming in here, I'm like, okay, what am I talking about today? Things changed as a result of whatever circumstance, personally from myself or externally, and I don't say, I'll just skip it. And even if there's people expecting me or not, I'm in a situation obviously where there's people expecting this, right? I mean, if I don't show up today, hopefully it's probably not going to really ruin anyone's day. They might be like, oh, I wonder what happened with Jeff, and then they move on. You know, maybe I'll get an email, hey, I didn't get to see your live today, and I could have played it off, blah, blah, something happened, but I do it, and I do it, and whatever comes out, because I know if I do something, it could land on somebody and it can affect them in a positive way, and that's what we're going for. And so, finishing this up to say, whatever you have inside here, get it out there in whatever form it is. And even it might not have the cool graphics or the cool sound or the cool look or the cool lighting or the cool whatever. And it might not be polished, and it might not be what you want it to be just yet, only because you're judging it. But you know what? Someone could watch it, listen to it, or read it, and it could change their life. It could be the person where it hits them at the right time, where they go like, who is this person? Like, I got to get in touch with them. And next thing you know, they're reaching out to you. And next thing you know, you have a paying client. It happens. And I see a lot of people out there who I look at their stuff and I'm like, it's just meh. And it's just, it doesn't look great. I watch some of their videos and things like that, some gurus out there, and I'm like, but you know what? They're successful. Why are they successful? It doesn't mean that they have to be fantastic. It just means that they put something out there, and guess what? I might not like it. I might not benefit from it, but guess what? There's other people that do and that will. And that's what you've got to be. You can't be everything to everybody. You've got to be something to somebody. In order to be something to somebody, you've got to get out there.